because we're a networking group, I love it when everybody decides that they want to turn their cameras on. Because when your camera is on, we get the opportunity to really see you. And part of this is the networking. We want to make sure that when we're connecting with people, we can see not just the name, but your face as well. It helps to make you that real person. And remember, part of this networking is people we want to know, like, and trust. As part of that, I want you to remember that the chat is open. And in the chat, please put your information. Make sure that you have a clickable link to your LinkedIn URL. That means the full URL, https://www dot, the rest. We want to be able to connect with you. For those of us who are still on free accounts, me included, we have 5 connection messages a month. If you see our name on screen, you see it in the chat, you see it in our private group, please, if you're willing, accept that connection request without a message. You already know who we are. You've got that credibility built in. Speaking about private group, we do have a private group on LinkedIn. I put the link in the chat. Private group means that LinkedIn hosts it, but what we put in there, what we say in there is private. It's a good place to ask questions, to share ideas. It's where I share the chat when we're done. If there are slides from presenters that they're willing to share, I put those there as well. It's where you can share job opportunities for other people, ask for help and support. The only way you can join that group is if you are registered for these meetings. So please, I love the fact that you all are excited enough to be able to share this group with other people, but share the link to register for the meetings, not the link for the private group, please. Okay, we want to make sure as much as we can that the people who are in that private group are the people who are really going to be there for the right reasons. They're not spammers, they're not bots, they're real people interested in the same things you are. 2 more things before we keep going, before I introduce myself, and that is that we've got normally a very lively chat going, and I love that. But as you're putting your information in the chat, if you find something that's useful, please don't just say, yay, congratulations, that makes sense. Tell us what that is that you're referring to. When you go back and take a look at the chat again, you'll find that useful to see that what you were referring to. Other people looking at the chat need to see that and hear that as well. And when you type something out, it gives you the opportunity to make another pathway in your own mind to help you remember it better. So that's important. If you hear something that's really important, please write the word nugget along with it, or something that lets us know that we want to be able to copy it, because I'm going to share some of these after the meeting is over. If you have questions, put the word question all in caps, along with what your question is. If we don't get to it today, we will get to it at a later date. Okay, and we're going to flip the meeting today. Okay, just so that you know, in order to have enough time for what we're talking about, which is job scams, Ken has a hard stop at 1 o'clock, so we want to do our quick wins at the end of the session today, not the beginning. So if you're waiting to share one of those, we still want them, but we'll do it after the presentation today, which I know is different. Any questions? Okay, now I'm going to introduce me, and then I'm going to let Ken and Sue introduce themselves. I'm Linda Brubaker. I am a career transition strategist and coach. I've been doing this now for the last 9 years, and 946 of the people that I've worked with have gotten offers. Now, I only tell you that as a way of talking about credibility and the idea that what we're talking about works. The information that I present, that we all present here, is based on our own experience. And my experience comes not just from those 9 years of dedicated career search coaching, but also from over 30 years of experience in human resources as a recruiter, a talent acquisition manager, a hiring manager, an HR business partner, and an external recruiter as well. In addition, we learn from you. We get the information that you're seeing to build on what we tell you, to do the additional research. And I check with my colleagues all the time, not just those that I know, but with the research that's out there to see what's real and what's not based on what websites from companies that are selling products are saying, but what people who are actually using that information is saying, the research behind it, the professional organizations and the people that I know. So what we're telling you is information that we really know and really works. I'm happy to have a quick chat with anyone anytime. I've put my information in the chat. I'm going to let Sue introduce herself first, and then Ken, and then after you introduce yourself, Ken, floor is all yours.
Thanks very much, Linda. I'm here because I bring the pom-poms. Those of you who know, I'm the mentor with pom-poms. I run Sue Mentors, a global mentoring consultancy for professionals in transition, different levels. And I've been working with Linda, I think, since we started, right? Is it now almost? It's a year and a half.
Oh,
But
longer than that, yeah.
yeah, so Ken and Lyndon have been a trio to try to be. I come as often as I can. We also travel. Um, and I'm not doing a tip today because we do have a shortened meeting, but I'm just alerting Ken. It was going to be ceding my time to you, but it's also a tip you gave me about outreach. So more to come on outreach in later July when I'm back. And on to Ken, the main part of the show, and pom poms to Ken today for presenting as well.
Well, great to be here, everyone. This discussion today about job search scams and spams, if you will, is something that has been a passion project of mine the last few months. And it got so much notice that actually I used to work at Lee Act Harrison. They're bringing me back now to actually present to their groups about scams and spams as a vendor. So that wasn't something I actually expected, but um, the purpose of today, I'm going to go through some slides and things as examples of things, but I really want to have a conversation after, have an open conversation as much as possible because a lot of you are going through this in a different way than me. I'm setting myself up to get these, which is not the same as people who get them all the time. So take what I have to say just on my best practices, what I've seen and what other people have told me, and I do hope you find it helpful. So, okay, if I share the screen, Linda, or is there anything?
Absolutely, please do.
Okay. So the first thing you want to find out, of course, is it up there to share? Don't you love technology? Okay. Give me a second. All right, so I should be able to share this in a second. Stop sharing. Can everyone see the screen now?
Yes.
Okay, so let me actually do this as a slideshow, play from the start. So what I'm going to differentiate is there's a difference between spam and scam, if you will. Spams are just the junk mail that we get, or junk emails we get, and scams are ones that they're really trying to take your information from. They're both really prevalent, and unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about them. I think the best way I can liken it is we get junk mail, we just toss it all. Um, Same thing with text spams and things. Sometimes the best thing to do is to ignore it. But again, I just want to point out these are just some new rules of engagement, if you will. When in doubt, I am a big deleter now. I delete, 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 or I may report them as spam and the like. If I'm unsure, what I may do is I move them directly to a spam folder for now because I don't want to be dealing with them. Maybe I'll do it on the weekend or some other time and then flag them as spam later on. There are very few emails I get, there are very few things I get that are actually emails from people that I really want to work with out of the blue. And I think that's the most thing. It's a numbers game. You're getting them, and so is everyone else. So I believe in focusing on people you know and trust through networking. They may message you on LinkedIn. They may send you an email, but you know who they are from their email address. You know who they are because you've had a relationship. And that is something to think about. You, with the job market the way it is now, it is so hard to even think that they're going to reach out to you. And they're never going to text you. They're never going to ask you to go on any site to text or do anything like that. You really have to be cautious. To some extent, you may want to even think about rechanging your voicemail to like just the generic one because you might be afraid they're going to be taking your voice. It is sad, very sad that we have to do this. But companies and LinkedIn, they do what they can. I've had a couple of companies reach out to me that have told me that because of something I sent them, they're having their cybersecurity team look at it. Well, I kind of wondered in the first place why they weren't thinking about it before. But again, I'm just one person, so I can't speak to everyone. So, these are just some telltale signs. A Gmail address and not a company email address. In general, that's true, but there are some really bad companies out there that have their own company portals and things, generic content taken from your profile. And as I say below, I'm going to share some examples along the way.
Mhm.
I do recommend people do a Google Lens search for a headshot to confirm it's that person. A lot of them, people, they don't send their email address or they don't include a phone number. In general, if you're getting an email out of the blue, it's probably a scam or a spam. And just think back to how people were finding you. You know, back in the day, not too long ago, you were putting your email, you're putting your profiles, whether it's on Indeed or it's on Dice or somewhere else, and that's how a lot of this is flagged. There's nothing to stop me from posting a job there. There's nothing to stop me from, based on that, from getting information too. So take what's out there with a grain of salt. There are some really good websites that are very niche driven, but they're not the ones. Even then, I'd be very cautious about what you put there. You may not even want to put your contact information more than a name there. I don't know. Like I said, this is stuff we're trying this out on the fly. You know, maybe you want to have a separate email address for job search. Again, these are personal decisions. I have a separate email address that I reach out to. It's an email address. It's not my home one. Same with the phone number. You want to be as transparent as possible. Sometimes people have talked about using a Google phone, and I think a lot of recruiters actually do that too. These are some other telltale signs. You get an email sent out en masse. If you check the blind CC, sometimes it'll show up. Um, what I'm going to show you on a slide is you can tell that it's just been sent out to a lot of people with some just one mention in there. They don't mention your name. The job specs do not match your background. The contact info doesn't seem right, and there's no easy opt out. Sometimes they would ask you to reply back with the words opt out, or sometimes something else. I wouldn't even recommend clicking on an opt out link because, for all you know, when you click on the opt out link, you're just on another list. Sometimes it's better just to delete, report them as spam, and sometimes it's only as good as your provider in terms of that. They may or may not do a good job. I have a decent amount of emails flagged as spams from my business, but not from my personal one. Gmail does an amazing job of that. The problem with some of these is sometimes you see an email in there that you want, and it's not a perfect thing. That's why sometimes it's important just to do the networking part. So I want to show you guys this. What makes this a scam slash spam? And one thing is the first thing here. My name is Lauren. One of the fallbacks is they use a first name and a last name that are both first names, which is a telltale sign. This person is Lauren, the last name here. This person here is taking a cut and paste of on the second paragraph about everything on my LinkedIn profile. And they mention experience at organizations that I barely worked at. I was at one for 2 months, one for 4 months. And the ironic thing about it is that those came from my about section. They weren't even mentioned under experience. The other things which I just alluded to, there's a Gmail address. I'll talk about this later on now. No one does a +1 with a phone number. Certainly not in this country. I actually looked this up. This plot number 132.8 14th Avenue, East Texas, Pennsylvania. I have no idea what it is, but that should be a telltale sign. I checked this person's image. It was not the person that it says it is. I actually called up the LinkedIn profile, which I know I shouldn't have done, but I did it because I want to be taken, and it took me to a different person entirely. So this is just one thing. It's not the only thing. Again, this is so generic. We see these all the time. This is another one. Um, Emily Christie Jack, three different first names. Taking information of mine, job search strategist. This website, this LinkedIn profile goes to another person. I actually spoke to the real recruiter, and she had no idea that she was hacked. That's something I like to do just as a matter of course. What I alluded to before is next to this net, there's an apostrophe. That's a message that was sent to other people right away. It wasn't just sent to me. If you go over here next to the net, there's an apostrophe. That means you're not the only one. Um, so they may have a program that they're just changing the first name somewhere else, but this is just something here. Again, this generic unlock new opportunities in your career journey. I'm very leery of any of these that I get. And the only reason I open a lot of them up is to have conversations like this with people. Um, if someone's reaching out to you as a cold call, there's no benefit to it. I mean, the benefit might be to let other people know it's a scam or something. Did you have a, and I'm happy to take questions along the fly, Linda, if you want to let people do that. I'm happy to do that. So I see.
That's up to you. Carl
Okay,
looks like
that's
he's got
fine.
one.
I'd rather do that on the slide if not, because it's probably easier that way.
Perfect.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Quick question. That the punctuation mark specific is a little small on the screen. It looks like more like a colon or a semicolon, not an apostrophe. What actual punch?
It's a semicolon. I misspoke. I'm sorry.
Semicolon. Okay. Thank you very much. I didn't realize that was a tell.
No, well, it is because other people are on that email chain. You're not the only one, or it's like instead of a CC. And I found this out when I go behind the scenes. If you actually look at the code on an email, which you can do, you'll find telltale signs. I mean, I'm a little bit nerdy that way, but you can look in any email, you can look at the actual hidden code behind there, and you can read through the code what's going on. I mean, I know enough to know what the HTML code is, but if you're really that curious, then look at the code and you'll see that.
Here.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think makes this fake? I know the answer, and I have a slide after that that will show you. But one thing, again, this is probably a better version here of this apostrophe. Hi there. My first name is now there.
Means semicolon.
Yes, and then the hi there. First name is there, not Ken or anything else. Again, it's kind of my thing. And then the plus on here. This is not even taking account that I have no idea what this job is. No idea what it is, and I have no idea how they found me. So again, as I alluded to before, this apostrophe after an email means it's being sent to others. Who knew my last name was there? This is the other tell. There are boldface things here. The boldface job title, the boldface role. This is from a template, whatever their template is. And you can tell right away. It's a template that they have. It's a template that they have, and it's a template that they use. Required skills. It's a cut and paste. In many cases, these jobs don't even exist because what I don't see here is I don't even see where the job is. I don't see the company. I see nothing. For all I know, this is just a way for them to get my information later on. Any recruiter worth his salt will tell you that what company is looking for this experienced person and what the project entails, short term, long term, something like that. And if they're not willing to do that, that's another red flag. I want to know a lot about it. I mean, remote with 10 to 20% travel. This is just so BSy for me. And I really recommend people just delete these. I mean, I again, I look at Ramesh here. He's in Denver, Colorado, somewhere maybe. His LinkedIn profile says he's from India. Not a surprise. And this is even though he has this conch.inc.com company, if you will. If you go to the company site, there's no jobs there. It just tells you all about them. Want to work with us, import your resume. Again, these are just things. If you spend the time or want to spend the time, these are just some other telltale signs. Another thing, dear, nothing, another template. And again, it's like missing name. And again, looking here, this is not even telling me about any jobs that they have. It tells you they're trying to sell me something in a way. And I can get really anal and say this apostrophe amp was a typo or something. I just look at these all the time. Um, this is a person, I'm not sure if they want me to find someone for them as a company. I'm not sure if they have a job here. I really don't know. And then the footer. This one really interested me because I'm right outside the 201 area code. So I was like, I called them up actually, and I got a voicemail. This number's not in service. I looked at the company. They're based out of central New Jersey. I think this profile actually doesn't click through. Um, I'm not suggesting that you will have the time to do this, but I do think you want to be aware of it. Um, I'm a bit company LinkedIn's. I mean, this is just out of a template.
Mhm.
Nothing more, nothing less. And it's just to be aware of it. So
Before you go, can you go back to that one just for one moment,
absolutely,
Ken? There's
absolutely.
another thing right there that bothers me.
Uh-huh.
It's assigned to me. Take a look at the LinkedIn URL.
Yep. Yep.
Somebody who's legitimate who really uses LinkedIn is going to have customized their URL. This one definitely is not.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Kim. I see a lot of times, I always look at somebody's LinkedIn, um, thing there. And I notice there are legitimate recruiters that don't bother to do that, to change that. And I find that very disheartening when I do see legitimate people not doing that. I'm like, that's basic. And do I really want to work with them?
Well, there's different types of recruiters. There's the recruiters from companies. There's the recruiters that may be working for a company through a place like Robert Half or Kforce or something like that. And then there are what we call the third party recruiters. They're the offshore ones. They're the ones that um, will just take whatever they can from anywhere. And they don't think to do that because they just don't want to. They don't care. They're not looking about making a good impression. They're just looking to throw it out to the wind and see if one person shows up. And even if by some chance you call them up and it's a Google phone which goes offshore, you can tell right away that it's not someone you want to work with. My advice is not even to go through all those steps. I mean, if I see in this day and age, if I don't see a LinkedIn profile that's personalized or if I don't see it as a clickable link or something, why would I even want to go any further? You know, you want your time is important to you. You know, they have the time to throw stuff against the wall, but I don't, and I don't think that most job seekers should. I think what you want to focus on are real conversations, real jobs that are out there, and you're not going to get a real job this way. I
Mhm.
guarantee it.
Carl, you have another question?
I guess, yeah.
Uh, Yeah, maybe more of a comment than a question. As you probably do recognize, the +1 is actually a country code for the US. And
Absolutely.
for people that use that work internationally, I know on my business card because I worked internationally, I did include the +1 because it's not +44 for the UK,
Right.
it's not +49 for Germany or whatever, right? Or +81 for Japan. So the +1 I don't think is necessarily a tale of a scammer because of that. If the person does work globally, they will probably want to be including their country code as in their phone number.
I'm
I
gonna
I
made
agree because I've had experience in the background too, working internationally. So it seems
I'm
less of
thinking about,
a
right. And I agree. For yours, that's one thing.
right,
But
but
right,
for the
for
people sending you this information, they say they're US recruiters, they are working supposedly in the US.
right.
That is a
yeah,
telltale red flag.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is like if they're reaching out to you from a 201 number in Northern New Jersey, I don't need a +1.
Correct.
I mean, if
Right.
they're, and again, it's not, I mean, some of these are just best practices, and there may be some people, I've worked with people from other countries who have found me, and they're viable. And we have had conversations, but I got to tell you, most of those conversations have been through LinkedIn, haven't been
Mhm.
through email, because that's a common place. And whatever conversations we have go there. This is just someone sending a cold email out to anyone and anyone just to think in mind. And again, this is what I alluded to before. AppSheet.com, if you see that right off the bat, that is a red flag that it is coming from a source where they're just taking your information. AppSheet is a good software tool, but when abused, in this case, again, this is not coming from Meta. It's Meta, and the A's and the E are not even, and careers are not even all in the same font. It's just really funky. It does, I don't know what happened along the way. But again, this is not talent acquisition. This is just their thing. And AppSheet and there's others like it. You see that right away. It's gone. And again, your skills. I mean, I laugh about these a lot now. As a job seeker, I would not laugh about this for a moment because it's a waste of time. I don't know what they're thinking about to do that. This is another one from AppSheet. and it's WhatsApp. Same thing with the careers. I got a kick out of this one here because I've never seen defining the North Star for the WhatsApp brand. I mean, they're getting very imaginative in a lot of the stuff that they do. Um, I laugh at these only because of how bad they are. But I feel for the job seekers that first time I actually saw this, I thought this is great. They want me. But then I realized 15, 20 seconds later, they don't want me. They don't even know who the heck I am. So again, this is a what's wrong with this? Hi, hope you're doing well. Please go through the following requirements and let me know you're with your update resume. And again, if you are comfortable, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm looking at that. I understand that may be a term that is used like all that, but I just see it as another red flag.
Mhm.
And this actually came from a Google group that I joined a long time ago for the purpose of this. There's Google, I don't even know if the group's still there anymore, but there was this group VHLVK22. I actually tried to unsubscribe and the group's not there anymore, but the point is that the names are still there. Um, there are so many bad actors here, and again, you may or may not get these, but I'm looking at something like this. This is not even in my wheelhouse to even think about this. Um, so then how about this? Same thing. This is a blind copy, and I know where the blind copy is going to, and the two is going to this guy. So I know right away it's being sent out to the wind. Hello, all. Hope you are doing great with those wonderful exclamation points. Um, Brenda Miller used to have a thing where she would reply back, not interested, and just
Mhm.
try to play with them. I don't know why. It's like not worth it. The best thing to do, and I'll show you later on, is to flag them and let other people know about them because you're not going to get the response back. Now, this is one I literally just got a couple of days ago. Came with Lang K, which was a cut and paste off my LinkedIn URL. That's how they got the Lang K. Boldface, boldface. This one of the recruiters he worked with, this guy Patrick Talamak, actually exists. Um, Sam Oak, or it's actually Samir Oak, is a very common hacker person. If you go to his website, the information he tries to sell you, these different processes, redo of resumes, working with him. He's a really bad actor. This Patrick Talamak's profile on the site is so old compared to what it is now. And I don't even know if Patrick even gave permission. I don't know if the endorsements on the site are relevant or not. But what I would recommend doing is, again, if you look him up on LinkedIn, Sam Oak, you'll see him there. Um, but this is how bad it's gotten. I'm currently finalizing targeted submissions for a limited number of roles with companies. What the heck is this? Again, you read these things through, and I don't know how many of these specifically you get as job seekers, each of you, but things like this, a telltale sign right off the bat, Lang K. What I would recommend doing is instead of clicking on the link, going into the box at the top and typing it in directly and seeing what shows up instead of doing the link from there. And you'll see because if you do that on there, it actually takes you to a different website anyway than this. So there are people that are working. I'm sure Mark Anthony Deist, I'm sure you've heard of, Jay Jones. Stacy Zapar is my new champion for this because she has actually created a Join the Fraud Squad, and it just launched this week. You can join it as a job seeker if you want. You can join it as a recruiter. We are listing left and right all the jobs, the fake profiles. We're listing the bad recruiters, the bad actors, and it's a place where a lot of us are actually sharing information. It's kind of a put together thing. Stacy does a lot of great work, but it's a place for us to really learn about this because we all learn from each other. And I learn a lot from job seekers. I learn a lot from them about what to do. We haven't even spoken about the salaries. We haven't spoken about
Mhm.
the fact that some of them ask for references in advance, which you should never do. I'm not even speaking about, can you give me the last four of your social and date of birth? Don't do it. I mean, these are all just things that we have kind of spoken about for a while. And I wrote a couple of articles about this. I'll share, Lynn, I'll share the presentation with you and others that want it. Um, Basically, I just wanted to have this as a starting point for the conversation today. I really wanted everyone here to get a sense of what I see. And I really wanted to make sure we had enough time after if people wanted to chat about this, because I think I'd like to hear personal stories as much as possible to get a sense of what you are all thinking. I just wanted to give you some general thoughts that I had based on that. And I hope, Linda and Sue, I hope you found that helpful, the presentation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And lots of things that we've already taken down in the chat, other things. So if guys, if you all have questions, and I see Barry has one now, can you put Stacy's information into the chat?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm going to put her, I would recommend connecting with her on LinkedIn. I mean,
Yep,
again,
that's what I meant.
yeah, like I said, I wanted to make sure that I got to the presentation first and allowed
Absolutely.
questions. And if you see me for a second, kind of looking off to the screen, it's not that I'm not listening to you guys. I just want to do this in real time. Okay, let's get Stacy here. All right, I'm putting Stacy's information in the chat now.
Thank you.
Um, and chat, here we go.
Question, Ken. A couple weeks ago, you first mentioned this fraud squad, and I went there and tried to sign up, and it wouldn't take me because it said only industry professionals can sign up. Have they changed that?
They have, and there are workarounds. And if you can't do this, let me know and I'll help you through it because she's actually in beta test right now for it. And we were, she's been asking a bunch of us, but if you can't do it, let me know.
Okay.
Because Stacy's a really good person. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, there's so many great people with lots and lots of followers, and she's one of the good guys, if you will. Because as a recruiter, and you, Linda, can speak to this, she's so frustrated with this, and she just wants to do something. I think what I wish companies would do more of is take stock on what's being done to their profiles, but they don't. LinkedIn, for all its best intentions, doesn't really know how to do it, and they probably don't want to. Um, that's a whole different discussion. Again, uh, I can only do what I can do. Mark, same thing. Jay, the same thing, and all of us. I mean, if you're not sure about something, you can forward it to me and ask me my thoughts. I mean, I'll be able to tell you in a split second. Um, it's one thing if you're getting an email from a career site like a Johnson Johnson or somewhere, and you've signed up to a job alert. That's okay. It's still automated, but you've asked for that. We don't ask for these emails that people send us. We're
Right.
just, if you will, we're just lucky enough to get them.
That's one phrase.
Yeah, lucky me. Yep.
No, the people who are responding and hearing you talk are the lucky. Okay, I see. Sue, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to, as you were talking, Ken, I realized this is the larger world, and some of the people that we've worked with here in Linda's group week after week are doing a version of contract jobs or being contacted to form teams. And I'm getting, and I'm sure you and Linda are, a lot of emails that say, oh, I saw your profile. They use AI on LinkedIn and they say you're this and that and whatever. So they're using the same techniques. And be wary also of just responding. We all know this about it, but when it's more friendly like that, oh, you're in this and I've been doing this, don't give them your email because then they have your full address, a name, and your email. I mean, they want live addresses. If nothing else, they're selling databases around the world to spammers. So thank you, Ken. That reminded me of how similar those two things are.
You might even want to put one of these emails into an AI tool and see what it thinks.
That's a good point.
I mean, again, this is all knowledge that we've unfortunately gained over time.
Oh, and I just wanted to say thank you to Karina, who is on today. She sent something to Ken and Linda and me the other day. We appreciated her. She was just checking in because Ken mentioned it last week. But, as Ken said, real live examples really help educate people. Linda, do we want to have people put them in the private group or not?
Well, I see someone is, and you can excuse me if I don't mean to mangle names.
No, go ahead.
Antonella Castellar actually put something in the chat.
Mhm.
right now. I'm actually looking at it right now, and this is a total scam or total spam, if you will. Um, I don't know much about Wellfound. I'll definitely look it up. But again, this just what again, if you guys look at it, the fact that it's a Gmail right off the bat, that tells me right away it's just not valid. But the more that we ignore these, the better. It may be a little counterintuitive to ignore a job that you get, but these are not real jobs.
Ken, do you recommend that if the company, if they're advertising this as coming from a specific company, that you check the company website if the job isn't there and then actually contact the company and say,
I
hey,
would
by the way?
I would absolutely go to the job company, the career site on the company. What I do is I reach out to the recruiters directly that are have their profiles taken from them, if you will, not the company per se. Because a lot of, and Virginia Franco has done that a lot. She's had her name taken 5 or 6 times. I've had my name taken 2 or 3 times. And it's our reputations. It's a company reputation. Most companies, I don't want to say are clueless, but they get so overwhelmed. I got spammed left or right at Lee Harrison, and it got past our internal systems. They would put up a thing external link. Well, that's great that it's an external link or an email, but that does absolutely nothing. It still gets through. We still have to report it, and a lot of people don't report them. They just kind of move them to a spam, and if you don't report them, they're going to keep coming.
Absolutely. Okay, we've got a couple of other people who've got hands up. I'm going to put you on the screen. Al, I think you're next.
Yeah, we talked about emails, and I mean, I think we kind of touched on text messages too. And I've gotten stuff like, I got one the other day. It said, "Thanks for your interest in X company," and I'm like, I didn't have any interest in your company. And then, hey, do you have time for an interview this week on Wednesday? And you're like, So I mean, it sounds like a total scam. Is there a way to report these, like text messages?
Well, you can report and spam to your provider. Like I do that all the time with Verizon. Um, WhatsApp is also horrible for this too. I get so many things on WhatsApp.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
the more you report, the better. I mean, providers, there used to be a do not call list, which is absolutely useless
Mhm.
right now. Same with a
Yeah.
do not email list, because even if you're on that, I mean, the penalties for abusing it are ridiculous. That's why I say nowadays I just go through every day and I just delete left and right.
Okay.
I don't even read emails anymore, which is sad. I mean, I may go back and look at a couple of people I know, but otherwise, after this call, I'm going to just do delete, 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 delete. And that's what's unfortunate because you're deleting and you never know if you're getting that one that you want. That's why it's so important for each of us to be proactive, reaching out to companies and people and not waiting for the emails to come to us.
Yeah. Very true. Thank you.
David, I'm going
Absolutely.
to put in, if that link doesn't work, David, just message me later on, like I said, um, because it's possible that Stacy moved the URL, but
Oh, I'll
definitely,
get the URL. I just connected with her or sent her a message.
and she'd be a great person also. I mean, again, we're all looking for speakers. I mean, she
Yep,
has WebExes and things like that too. The more we get out, the better it is for the job seekers, and we really all care about you guys. I mean, it's not just a thing, but we have to really be on top of this. So I see Kate has her hand up.
yep.
You're
You have to
muted.
unmute.
Unmute.
Okay.
I also
Okay.
don't know what my background is.
Okay.
Does my background look weird with lines and stuff?
I guess. I don't know. That's
I don't know what that is.
oh,
Anyways, I can go fix that or we can ignore it. We're going to ignore it.
sure.
I have two examples. One
Mhm.
I'm super embarrassed by, and the second one I was really surprised by. I'll go with the first embarrassing one. I got pinged by somebody on LinkedIn, I think, and then that person sent it to somebody else. Oh, you're interested? Good. We're going to send it to a third person. And it was with Confluent. .io, which is actually an IBM company, and it's an IT company, and like a software development as well. But they do really good work. But this thing had nothing to do with that, I don't think. They had their own little poster. They had their own, I think, data entry marketing resources person. it got further and further and down the path. And when it got to the third person, that's when it jumped to WhatsApp. And that's when it jumped to, let me think. It was, oh, I know. The big red flag was we had to jump on to, you had to have an account with, what's the one, Target or Trader or something that's like a quick, they make the messages go away.
Right.
And then you had to set up an account to get paid. You had to set up an account with Cash App. That's a red flag.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you had to buy 1 Bitcoin to set up the account to get the revenue going. And then the work, like they did a trial work and you got a bonus, and that all had to do with Grok, and that all had to do with Twitter. So I was just curious. I just kept going and going. And then I said to them, I go, well, I've kept a picture of all your texts that you've sent me. And I contacted the FBI and they say, you are a total scam. And then they all disappeared. Yeah. All the messages disappeared, but I had them all. So FYI, I think, so what I would say is, do you contact the original company? Because Confluent's still a legit company. It's a software. It's a high-end software development. But anyway, so that's my embarrassing story. And my surprise story was, I had a friend who was a recruiter and quite a busy recruiter back in the day. And she has taken my resume a few times. And she loved the content I had on the resume. And she was working for a new client in California. And she said, oh, Kate, I have this new VP position. You'd be great for it. Let me send in your resume. And I said, well, wait, I want to tell me more about the job. No, we don't need it. It's okay. He's a good friend. And then subsequently, I found out she had some quotas she had to meet. And she was hired to not only create the position description, but to also take the young folks in the office and guide them through a 3-interview process. And she had sent me the questions for the interview a half an hour before. I should have picked up on what she was doing. This is like over a 2-week time. And then I finally tried to reach out to get a hold of the VP that was allegedly setting this all up. And on LinkedIn, she said she was the sole manager for LinkedIn postings. And then lo and behold, she posted a product manager position and it read verbatim from my resume. There was no job. And she finally confessed that she had this quota and she was behind and she had to get a lot of people in front of them. And I just thought that was the ballsiest thing I've ever seen. And kind of a ridiculous way, buyer beware, or, if they're coming at you with, oh, I've got this great job for you. Where was that resume you had? You'd be perfect for it. She really was just taking it to
Recruiters are just as frustrated as job seekers are.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, the real recruiters out there, because their reputations and the relationships they have are, I think the biggest challenge is that we all have to do what we can to ignore and delete and ignore and everything else, because you're not going to be able to change this. None of us are, except
no. And desperate is as desperate does, because I've known her longer. You would think the relationship would have held up more, a little more honesty in there, and instead of she was a Cornell grad, which really surprised me too. But anyways, recruiters, I think, will do anything.
Well, also the first person you speak to at an agency is not even a recruiter. It's just someone that's a gatekeeper there too, to see if it's even worth having. And this can be a very wide-ranging conversation. I just think the more aware everyone is, the better, and your time is better spent not even going through emails.
Yeah.
And just taking a chance. I mean, anyone who really wants to reach you is going to find a way to reach you.
Yeah.
No matter what.
All right, I'll go change my background now. Thank you.
All right. I'm going to bring Ellen up instead.
Yep. Hey, Ellen.
Hi, thank you for this. This is great. And something I noticed, and I was just checking on your slides as well, is some of these players are playing on our situation and our emotions. And just reading through some of the emails, I noted time sensitive, immediate requirement.
Yes.
Following your career, we're finalizing the role. So they're going to play on all of our emotions, but we need to be aware, not just visually what we're looking at, but what we're reading.
Urgent was one of the favorite ones. I have an urgent request for this. Time sensitive. She said, you know, when you're in job search and you're very vulnerable and it's not a good situation, they are preying on you. Absolutely.
Right. So
Yep.
thank you for this.
You're welcome.
See, Marilyn has her hand up.
Yeah, I'm trying to get her up there.
Okay.
So, yeah, I just wanted to mention a definite scam. This was one of a lot of the things we've already talked about, so I won't reiterate that. But when I wanted to check out the company, I asked the person I was talking to, you know, I'm not sure this is a legit company, and they sent me their company registration document in India, which is fine. If it's an Indian company, that's no problem. And so, so I reached out on LinkedIn. I found the CEO of that company. And I said, this is happening. I was given this as your company, and this is what I was told. And he was just like, I have no idea what this is about. It has nothing to do with my company. And thank you for bringing it to my attention. And they actually had like this fake website, these folks. And he was so grateful to me for pointing this out. And he had their website shut down. He said, that's my company, but I don't know what you're talking about. Because anybody can post a company registration because they're public data. And so he shut them down. So contacting the CEO of the legit company worked in that case.
I'm also wondering, as a job seeker, if you did something like that to the company and let them know if that might not be an opportunity for you to get into the company or network with them.
Potentially, I actually looked into the company. It wasn't something that was suitable, but yeah, that would have been a perfect opportunity for that. Yeah.
Might be a good
Actually,
thing.
I recommended that to one of our people who's
Yeah.
not on the call today, or I would have brought her up. But she did that. It was one of those things, and in addition, she said, you know, this is an organization I would love to work with if you'd like to find out more, kind of thing. Be happy to talk. He asked for her information, added it to their database, and said he would contact her when an appropriate position became available. But again, he was very appreciative of that as well.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that going to the legit CEO was good in that case. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oops. Hi, this is
Hi.
Mary Ann.
Hi.
A couple things. Another thing to look for is I got an email yesterday from somebody who wanted to do contract work, and the website address had a .org instead of a .com, and it was not a nonprofit. And I went out and looked, and the name had just been picked up. But watch out for variations on names, like, you know, Lunch and Learn Limited versus Lunch and Learn Inc. And I actually, my other job search groups laugh at me and say, just stop following her. There was one woman who sent me a message, and it sounded really legit. And my first response is, you're sending all this to me from a Gmail address. I'd really like, you know, I keep everything very professional. Can you give me your company email and your LinkedIn profile? And she got back to me and said, I use Gmail. I am a recruiter, but I use Gmail. I'm not, and I don't have a LinkedIn profile, or I don't have a company website because I'm not part of a company. It's just me. But the first thing I ask for is, give me your real company email address. And some of them are really ballsy, guys. You know, they'll come back and say, you know, and give you all sorts of rationale. And at the end, they might even go passive aggressive on you, saying, well, you're going to miss this great opportunity. Well, there isn't an opportunity. And some of the third-party contingent offshore groups are completely legit, but there are so many overlays that aren't. You just have to proceed with caution. So that's it.
Right. And put them on my recruiter hat, those third party, because I must get one request from one of those offshore recruiting firms every 2 weeks or so. They want to sell me their lists. They want me to let them do the for me, or for me. They're sourcing firms. They are not normally recruiting firms. What their job is to give the recruiters a potential list of names. That's it. No vetting. No, are these real legitimate people? Do they even match? Kate, I think you were talking about the fact that somebody had a quota. They have a quota for how many names they can provide. because that's the way they get paid is on the names, as opposed to a legitimate recruiter, even an outside recruiter, who gets paid when they make a placement.
Yep.
They're not responsible for placements, just the generation of the list. Okay. Do you have time for one more? Ken?
I do, yeah, I do.
All right. Carl.
Yeah, just in terms of another tell, or maybe I guess the best way to describe it, check the timestamp of the in-mail or the email when it was received. Does it make sense for the supposed location of the person that sent it to you? That's another thing maybe to check on correspondence from potential scammers.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is just to be cautious and rely on us, rely on verified, because we've seen it all. When I was in job search, if I had to tell younger Ken what older Ken knows now, younger Ken would not have wasted a lot of the time that he did. And so that's just what happens. I mean, I wish I hadn't done a lot of the stuff I did, but I did, and lesson learned.
Yeah.
And anyone reach out to me after the call. Like I said, I'm happy to follow up, and I'll be in with Linda's groups all the time. This is not a one-off thing.
No. And we may do this as another follow-up if Ken is willing. But okay, right now we want to make sure that you're getting the information you need. And as a reminder, reach out to Ken, reach out to Sue, reach out to me. We've seen so many of these. We'll help you check them out
Email
and
me
get
the
back.
job spec. Ask me, what do you think about the job spec? I mean, I'll give you my thoughts, and it's just it is an opinion, but it's based on background, and take it for what it's worth. All right, so Linda, I'm going to jump off the call if that's okay.
Absolutely. Ken, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Let me just save the chat like I always do.
I
So
know.
I can put it, yes. All right.
So Ken is leaving the call. I'm staying on. I know, Sue, you have to leave in a couple of minutes too. We'll continue to answer some questions, and when we get some of those done, we will do another of these sessions at another time as well. Ken's going to add the presentation to our private group tomorrow. I will add the chat to our private group as a reminder. Please download the chat, even though I'm going to do it. To download the chat, go to the top of the chat where it says Career Search Lunch and Learn. There are 3 dots. Click Save Chat. That's one way to do it. The other way is to go in and make sure that all your messages are there and highlighted. Click anywhere in that stream then and do select all, control copy, put it into a document of your own. I highly recommend that you put the chat into your version of an AI. Done several things, one of which is gives you another opportunity to play with it. Okay, with that AI to refine what you're getting, to ask it questions so that you get comfortable with that process. But it also helps you to pull out the information that's going to be useful for you. I do that with these chats. You've started to see some of those in the private group where it talks about some of those issues as well. But it also, for me, I make sure that all the links that you put in are clickable. Okay, and the AI does that for me. I'm lazy. So that's one of the things that you need to know. Okay. What else? I'm happy to have a quick chat with anybody. I am going to stay on for, I said we'd go until 1:30, so I will stay on with that and answer whatever questions you have. And then when the questions are done, we'll do our quick wins. Thank you, Sue. Carl. Was your hand up for something else, or you have to unmute?
Sorry. So the question is a very maybe specific question, but it's piggybacks on last night's session in which you participated. I mentioned the fact that I was I gave a target company, and it was the African American gentleman whose name is slipping me. He offered to say name drop him with someone at that company. I looked up that person. She's on the board of this publicly traded company. I've applied to 2 divisional vice president roles within that company. I've sent even my credentials directly to the hiring managers. Haven't heard back. I'm thinking that if I were to just simply name drop, the connection seemed a little loose. Let's just say that to the board member, it she might accept it or not, but then it seems a little bit like I'm going around and going for a top-down approach. So I'm really on the fence. Do I take advantage of that, or do I maybe go back to the gentleman and say, hey, can you actually make a warm introduction? I just didn't want to create a big hubbub, or come in like I'm trying to come in top down, but I didn't want to leave that kind offer from him hanging there.
Okay, so here's the way I would do it, because I do the same thing. Okay, I will not, unless you and I have had a conversation and I know really about your background. And this is somebody that I've had that first level connection with myself and conversations. I may not be able to say, here's somebody I recommend for this job, but I am happy to make that introduction. This is someone I think you should connect with. Okay, or I will do the same thing, and I think his name was Foster last night.
Yes, thank you, Foster.
Okay, who said, here's the name of somebody, and you can drop my name. Linda Brubaker suggested that I reach out.
That's what he said.
Yep, and that works. I would not go back to Foster and ask to make a warm introduction if he wasn't able to do that the first time. He won't do it now. Okay,
But
making that
okay.
warm introduction usually means that I understand more about your background.
Could the approach be to ask Foster for a brief one-on-one and then ask for that warm introduction? I guess the question is more of a tactic question. Even if I do what Foster suggested, which was in my connection request to the board member, include his name, that is it tactically maybe not proper, or could be, not well received to try to network in from the board level of a publicly traded company when I've applied and directly sent emails to the hiring managers who are the group presidents of the various divisions.
It's great to get to know Foster no matter what, and to
I'm
follow
sorry, who
him.
is this?
This is Scott Boudreau. It's great to follow Foster anyway, and he does have a CSET HR group, I think, every other Wednesday. I can put the chat info in the chat, but he's a great guy to follow no matter what.
Yeah, so here's what I would recommend for all of you. And this is an open offer to anyone on the call. If you have a company that you're really interested in, reach out to me, reach out to, I'm not going to volunteer Sue or Ken for this, just me. Okay. But reach out to anybody else in the group. Here's the company I am looking at. Do you have any connections there? I have made a number of those introductions. Okay. I am more than willing to do that. If it is somebody I've actually spoken with, and I don't mean you, I mean the person I'm connecting you with, because it may be a second level, or it may be somebody that I've connected with on a meeting that I don't really know. I may just say, do the introduction. Hey, I thought you two should talk. Okay. Like to introduce you to the introduction and leave you alone. Basically. That's it. He'd like to find out more about your organization. Not he's looking for a job. Okay. But do it that way. Those seem to be effective. I can't guarantee that they all will, but it's not, if you do it, it is not hey, I'm looking for a job. What can you help me with? Okay.
I understand that from the basic networking approach, but just
exactly.
Even with optics, there's more of a soft side. Okay.
Right. So even with your board member conversation, which is really where I wanted to get to. Again, Foster suggested that you'd be a great person to reach out to. I'd love to learn more about the company, what you see your challenges are. I see you're doing some really interesting things. If you do a follow-up, by the way, I've applied for such and such a position. If you think it's appropriate, please take a look. Not sending your information. Do not send your information.
Okay, thank you.
For any of these networking, unless they ask for it.
Thanks.
Sure. Next. Anyone else have a question? I can't see hands raised. All right. And let's move to quick wins. And if you have questions as we're going along, you can do that too. But who's got a quick win? Wow. We were so active earlier. No
What do you mean by quick win? I'm new here.
Oh, I'm sorry, who's new?
Marianne.
Miriam, would you like to come up then and introduce yourself?
Oh, sure. I'm Marianne Besser. I live in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. I am a tech marketing professional, both strategy, product marketing, growth, brand. So an all-rounder, looking for another position in a startup, but not as small as some of the startups that I've been working with for the last 6 years. Like, folks, guys, I worked for a company, we had 5 people. That's too small.
Yeah.
That's just too small. But looking for those companies that are a little bit bigger, starting to kind of cross the chasm, right? They're going from really small to, 100 customers, right? Or above. And I've had some good luck with kind of shifting my job search really away from looking on places like LinkedIn for jobs. I've set up my prompts and have been working on, doing my own search and finding my own companies and spending a lot more time networking than actually applying for jobs. And in some cases, I got a message yesterday from a woman who I actually said, hey, I applied for a job at your company, but I'm really more interested in you and how you landed there and what makes you stay. And she got back to me and said, I just looked at your profile. I'm tagging your profile for the director of marketing role because it's a really good fit. So I'll talk to the CMO. He's doing the first line of screening. So it seems to work better. I've had more traction. I'm tired of being applicant number 562, where there's just nothing. Right.
I think that's great. So whether you're applying directly, and I'm still a believer, I know there's a lot of people out
I
there.
just don't do as much, right?
No, I understand.
I'm very careful.
There are a lot of influencers out there who say the only way to get a job is through networking. Yes, networking absolutely helps. And your approach is the same one that you used. I'd love to find out more about you, how you got there, what challenges you're facing, what keeps you there. Okay, what you've learned, not I've applied for a job.
Right.
That's perfect.
Well, and there's also, and it comes from Steve Dalton's 2-hour job search. It's a numbers game here too, right? The vast majority of people you connect with may accept your connection, but don't do anything with it. They're curmudgeons. That's what he calls those. Don't even think about them. And then there's the boosters who really come in and help you. And then there's this middle group who he has a new book out, so I don't know what he calls them now, obligates, right? They feel obligated to connect with you, but they always find a reason not to follow up. 20 minutes before the meeting, it's like, oh, I'm really sorry, can I? And when they take the reins and say, let me call you when I've cleared this hurdle, that's usually when I say, okay, this is an obligate and I'm really not looking for them. So you might send out 100 of those networking connections and you might hear from 5 people, but they're 5 good people.
Exactly. Yes, it's a numbers game, but you want the right numbers.
Yes.
Absolutely right. Okay. But the idea when you're doing these connections is not, do you have a job for me? It's always, let me find out about you. You're really interesting. Okay?
Because people love to talk
talk about themselves.
And you're going to endear yourself to them when a job does come up.
And that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's the way you do this. Okay. So I highly recommend it. And I encourage everybody to make at least one of those outreach messages this week. Try one. That's all you have to do. If you want the wording, let me know. I'll be happy to send you something. Okay. But that works. Thank you very much for that. Thanks for sharing. By the way, a quick win is just what you did. You reached out to somebody, they got back to you. You contacted a new person you hadn't done before. You had an interview, it didn't go anywhere. Whatever it is, you had an interview and yay, it's going to be in the works. You don't know what it is, it's okay. It's taking that action regardless of what the result might be. Okay, we've got another couple of quick wins. So I'm going to put you on the screen, and then as I put you on the screen, just in that order, okay? So go ahead. You, Beverly.
Hi, nice to meet you. This is also my first time here in this meeting.
Welcome.
Yeah, I've been looking for a job, maybe for 3 years. I found something good enough, which was a casual employee in a company, and it worked very good last year and the year before. I had 2, they contacted me 2 or 3 times, and so enough. I mean, at this point, I understand that maybe age is an issue. But this year they haven't called me at all. So I, I decided to go back to the job search to find something maybe, you know, that I could do, could be part-time, not necessarily full-time. I am an engineer from foreign university from Venezuela. I have 2 master's degrees from the United States, RPI. And it has been really difficult to find something. I have applied many times. I made many mistakes when I arrived. All of the one that you have mentioned, I think I made all of them. Asking, you know, networking and saying that, attaching my resume and things like that. I made all the mistakes. I hope that everyone I contacted, they forgot about me right now. But yes, I started, you know, to try again, to look again, to find something. I work for the oil and gas industry and making financial models, mainly in the finance area, even though I am an electric power engineer. But, you know, I developed a career in finance. So, well, I really like a lot. I have received some of these mails. I have, you know, made the mistake of opening a couple of them, and then I realized that they were fake. And it was so sad. They made me waste a lot of time. But yes, I mean, we have to continue updating, you know, in what is happening in the market to be sure that we are contacting the right person. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I like very much my first time here. I'm sorry,
Good.
I was supposed to be on on the camera, but, you know, my hair.
Look at mine. What do I care? This is the group. This is a no apologies group. We're here to provide support.
Yes,
That's all that matters. So we're here when you need us.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. I already joined the private group, so I really like to be
Perfect.
here. Yeah,
Welcome.
thank you very much.
Happy to help. You're welcome. Okay, Kate, you're up. You have to unmute again, Kate. There you go.
I actually had a question. If you have picked the topics for July yet, and
they're always changeable until I put them out there, or even after I put them out there. What are you looking for?
I just want to pull back in best practices for AI. And there could be a lot of different avenues, but I think there's such need for that topic to keep expanding to make it more helpful for us than more work, I guess is the play.
I'm trying to get the right speaker for that, so it's already on my radar.
Okay, and
it
then
may not happen until August, but yes.
Yeah, I would like to do a side group for those of us older workers that have to be on HD video. We need some, you know, some hot topics on how to get you looking right. And if anyone follows Dr. Boz, she went through a whole red laser thing that puffed her face all up, but it grew all new collagen and she looks 15 now. But we're not going to go there.
No, we're not. And by the way, do be careful about AI pictures on LinkedIn. Please don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, I still need to fix my stretched face. Okay. Get my color right. But thank you.
You're welcome. By the way, if you all have other topics, okay, please let us know. These sessions work best when they work for you. I have a tentative calendar for the next month and a half, maybe 2 months, but tentative really means tentative. Unless I have a speaker already slotted there, okay, then anything is changeable. And we change on the fly, we adapt on the fly, because this has to work for you. And that's what this is all about. Thanks for the suggestion. And if you have a person that you can think of for some of these topics, I'm happy to reach out to them as well and see whether we can't get them to join us. Okay? Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions or quick wins? I know we usually start with the quick wins. So let me ask you all a question. Okay. In terms of formatting, did the quick wins at the end work? Or do you like that more at the beginning? You can just.
We need the pom-poms. Can't do this
I
without
know, we don't have them.
We can't do quick wins without pom-poms. Especially if we have big ones like jobs and stuff. We gotta have pom-poms.
Absolutely.
My opinion first. Put them up front.
Well, I like that too. It's kind of the walk into the session, but.
I feel like it's good in the beginning, Linda, because some people drop off at the end or have to, leave after the hour.
I guess for that reason, almost at the end might make sense, because if there's a special focus topic that's more instructional in nature, then maybe make sure that, and many people I see dropping at the hour, they miss that instructional content and only hear they miss maybe some of that instructional content. So maybe because of that reason, do it at the end. If there's,
I like that too. I second that.
I think I agree. It depends. If you have an important topic that is going to take long and people want to engage with it, then do it at the end. But if it's just Q&A, kind of just conversation, do it at the beginning.
I feel like the beginning makes people feel inspirational.
That's the reason that I started it there. How about my thinking is maybe when we have a speaker, we'll think about where we want to put it. Okay, ask them. But the idea of warming it up was the reason that I put it at the beginning. Maybe what we'll do is we'll limit the timing. The other thing, I'm happy to think about it. Give me ideas and suggestions, but I just wrote it in the notes as a reminder to me to think about where it goes.
Maybe you just pick three, and it has a time limit in the beginning. Okay, now you get to your speaker and then take the cue for, we're going to make time before the hour, something like that.
Okay, thank you. All right, next. Hi, Andrew.
Hey, hey, how's it going?
Good, well.
No, it's just a quirky little quick win. It wasn't nothing special, but I've been adding content to LinkedIn to get some more activity and some more reach and all that, and I just happened to throw on a cute little I shared a profile, an article. It's a funny picture, really. It shot up like 2,000% in just a couple of days, like a day or so. And it's like I'm getting contacts and comments from people all over the world in different industries. And I don't know, it just was a lucky sort of like random post. So it's been kind of amusing because it was one that it wasn't even really typically my field or my passions. It's, if anything, it's old information about me when I was back in the shipping industry, but it got a lot of recognition. So that's been kind of fun. So quick win.
Absolutely.
Hopefully that will lead to more activity, more eyes drawn to me on LinkedIn. Good eyes, of course.
What was the post about?
It was just silly. It was I can put the link in here and that'll just improve my my activity there. But it's literally just a picture of a ship carrying other ships, and it's a play on words, and it's just silly in so many ways. But it's just I don't know if I can't put the picture in there. I can't paste it, but this is a ship shipping ships, and basically it's a ship, like a ship, the kind of ships that deliver containers and whatnot. So this is a ship carrying ships, and it's just stupid funny, but seems to have resonated. So I guess quick win. Again, it was not my typical like AI related subject matter or accounting matters or whatever, but it just was amusing.
Sometimes those things really resonate.
Yeah.
And they have people to look at you in a different way.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, if people know me, they know that I've got a lighthearted sense of humor, so this tracks. But I'm getting like these comments from people all over the world, also using words ship as a different word for a different word. But it's funny, like it's been good reaction, and I think it's also I'm making a point to respond to people too, and I think from what I understand the algorithm, when you get that activity, once you get that kind of conversation going, it recognizes you as an active participant in the platform and gives you a higher profile. So hopefully that's going to lead to more of this for me. Again, more good eyes on me.
And that's really what counts. Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Just
Thank
want to
you.
know, are you in the supply chain business? That would be great.
Oh,
See,
yeah.
that's the thing is that I'm not. I used to be like early on in my career, I was in import-export logistics, and so I got all of this is my life. But then I switched over to accounting, and I kind of did a major pivot that direction. Since then, I've connected with folks in the shipping industry on LinkedIn, including one woman who does a weekly webcast called Ship Happens. And it's very good. It's very informative, a little bit lighthearted, but also very topical. So I've gotten to be friends with her, and it's kind of like referential to that as well. So I think she's liked my post, and other people have too. So it worked out.
Excellent.
Yep, there you go. So Carol, thanks for showing the picture.
Perfect.
Supply chain and accounting go very well together. Think of your
Actually,
next
they do.
funny
Agreed.
quip.
Agreed. You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. But the thing is, like, I was in supply chain, but then I was doing all the accounting work, and that's how I shifted over to realize that this is really the part of my work that I really am passionate about, and so I shifted solely to accounting.
Actually, supply chain goes with everything.
True.
Yeah, I have friends in accounting, and get familiar with some AI tools you can promote for yourself, and it might just be supply chain.
Good point. I have pursued opportunities with supply chain companies. Here in Chicago, many of them are out in suburbs. I'm in Chicago, so I'm tending to focus more on accounting jobs in the city, or the nearby. But I wouldn't turn it down and I've also been working with companies that are distributors. Like there's my one target company is KE Distributors out in Naperville, which is a suburb of Chicago. One of the things I'm trying to sell them on is that I've got background in logistics, so I can work with your folks who are doing that and handle the accounting, because I understand what they go through more than just some guy who crunches numbers. I understand that just in time. I understand LCL versus FTL. I can.
What you might do is sell yourself as the translator between, accounting and the logistics, because that's really what
Absolutely. Yeah, that's absolutely what you're right. You're absolutely right. That's what it is. Because I've done the same thing with IT, because IT and accounting are very, very different animals. I mean, we both deal with numbers and patterns and formulas, but it's a very different world.
Exactly.
I've had experience working with IT companies, so I can be the translator so that people understand what we're doing on a leadership level for the accounting.
Perfect.
I'm just laughing because in MBA land, accountants are very, very, very creative, or can be.
I mean,
so go get them. Go get them.
Yeah, obviously we want to be careful about creative. You don't want to cook the books.
You don't want. The thing is, you don't want a creative accountant.
Right. You want to have an open mind to be able to make the business work, but you also have to be able to tell people, no, this doesn't work. You can't do what you're asking because that would be fraud.
Right.
You can do this. And so you've got to be adaptable with that. And if you know what you're doing, if you can communicate well, you can convey that.
Andrew, would you ever take your post and repost it and put a little spin like what you've been talking about right now?
Yes, you could.
Make it work related.
In this case, I might make it as a comment, or I would go back and edit the original post.
Okay.
So there's two or three different ways of doing it. But I often try and do something which has that tie-in to what it is you want to do now. If you see something that looks strange, that's what I did. I mean, I tried to do that a Pringles post yesterday.
Yeah, I did notice that. That was amusing. And I was meant to ask you, is that a legit product, the Pringles
It is
hot
a
dog?
legit product. I took it from, it popped up in one of my news feeds. I visited the site and actually saw it there.
Okay.
So,
I mean, it looks absurd, but it also looks too absurd to not be real. And there's a lot of crossover, and I'm not surprised. I've also been in consumer products, and I know they're like, we need a new product to sell. let's put these two things together.
Yep.
So it's
I don't
not.
expect it to be a long-lasting product. I think it's kind of, honestly, it's a marketing gimmick.
Right,
But
right.
it was cute enough to do something with and to tie it into how do you reinvent yourself and use the
Frozen.
skills,
Right.
the flavors that you already have to
Right.
look at different things.
Well, I mean, not long ago, you had those walking tacos where it's basically, it was just a bag of Doritos with some
Yep.
chili thrown in there. And it's like, okay,
Exactly.
well, but yeah. But I like your idea of using this as a platform to say, hey, hello world, I've got your attention.
Yep.
Take a look at me, and this is a little bit about my background. I'm going to try that out. I might run that through one of my AI programs and see if it gives me a good suggestion. But I like that idea of grabbing the audience and amplifying it towards me, or what I'm looking for.
Perfect. Amy.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I just wanted to add on to what Andrew had asked originally. So I had actually posted in the Lunch and Learn group on Monday about a kind of a similar question. So I have a post that I had mentioned last week had gone viral. It has doubly gone viral since last week's meeting. So it has over 35,000 views.
Wow.
And so I made note of about 20 people who liked or commented that I was not connected with. And I was curious what kind of connection message should I use to engage with them?
Did they engage on the post or did they just like it?
Most just liked it.
So what I would do would be to go back and look at their content.
Okay. And then comment on theirs or like theirs.
Yes. I wouldn't just like it. I would try and find a meaningful comment.
Okay.
Then you can send out that connection message.
And if they don't post,
then what's the point of connecting in the first place?
Oh, okay. Well, it's still, I'm trying to make connections, right? So if they are in
And
the line
it doesn't have to be just a
work-
connection. It doesn't have to be a post. It could be that they're commenting on other people's posts too.
Okay.
So here's the thing with the likes. Likes increase your visibility. But what really counts in terms of the LinkedIn algorithms these days are two things, or more than two. One is, are people, I mean, I can see a post and I can just like it. And unfortunately, that's one of the things that a lot of what I'd call an engagement pod would do. Okay. You see my post, I'm going to comment, I'm going to like yours, you're going to like mine. Or I'm going to comment on yours, you're going to comment on mine. Same people commenting, liking on all those posts. But it's kind of this routine. What counts is how long am I clicking into the post itself, or am I just doing a quick like? Quick like isn't going to help you much. The clicking in, back in, that counts. So if you look at your statistics, what are your impressions versus your likes?
Well, that's what I said. My impressions are 35,000 and my likes are only 150.
Yep, that's even better. And then LinkedIn is also going to look at the comments that are made that you're making as well. Make sure you're replying to them. Okay, or as many of them as you can. If you've got too many comments, it's hard to do that. But you need to comment back on at least some of them. Otherwise, it's a post and ghost.
So it's a week old. Is it too late to do that now?
It's not.
Okay.
Okay. You don't have to comment on all of them, but make sure you're commenting on at least a few.
I did one because it was a relevance thing, but okay. Thank you.
Okay. And it doesn't have to be for all of them. Okay. But if you find some that are relevant, some that are good, then you might comment on those. But you need to have a couple of them for LinkedIn to say that you're really serious about it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. What kind of a post was it, Amy?
You can go back. Yeah, it's in the Lunch and Learn group from Monday. You'll see it. I reposted when I asked the question, but it's about volunteering. You actually commented.
Yes, I did. Yep. Perfect. Okay, anybody else? I heard another voice.
No, that was just me because I heard my name again, but you had said Amy, not Andrew, and for a split second, it almost sounded the same.
Sometimes it does, and sometimes in my mind, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. For those of you who stuck with me, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I can stay on just for another minute or two. As a reminder, do copy the chat. I will add it to the Lunch and Learn group. It may not be until tomorrow, but I will get it up there. I'm going to turn off the recordings though.